Election Commission to carry out voting simulations in 2,400 secondary schools nationwide. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. You're watching News on 2. I'm Wong Kang Sin. The Election Commission, or EC, has pledged to intensify its engagement with secondary schools nationwide on the voter education system. Listing it as one of the Commission's top priorities this year, its chairman, Dato' Azhar Azizan Harun, said the EC would conduct simulation of the election with Form 4 students soon. To that end, Dato' Azhar said the EC has prepared a module that will be part of the program. He also insisted that the module will not be a tool for political indoctrination.
So the module is ready. We will make public the module so that nobody could raise an allegation that we are trying to indoctrinate students. We are not. We are not in the business of indoctrinating anybody, but we want to educate.
Speaking to reporters following a courtesy visit by the Parliamentary Special Select Committee to the EC's headquarters today, Dato' Azhar said the Commission would engage with a total of 2,400 schools nationwide. Asked why the Commission did not conduct the engagement with Form 5 students instead, he said the Commission had previously carried out with those students and they did not want to interfere with the Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia examination. Meanwhile, Dato' Azhar said the tender for the computerized automatic voter registration system has been awarded and is targeted for implementation by the middle of next year. Automatic voter registration was introduced as part of the government's move to lower the voting age from 21 to 18 last year. According to Dato' Azhar, since the constitutional amendment to lower the voting age was passed in July last year, over 2 million potential voters have been identified by the EC.
Sebagai contohnya, kita telah buat secara manual. Ya, sistem belum ada, undang-undang pun belum dilaksanakan, tapi di pihak SPR, pihak sekretariat telah membuat secara manual. Kita telah selesaikan lebih daripada 2 juta orang pengundi yang kita akan jangka menjadi pengundi baru. Ya, kita telah buat secara manual, meletakkan lokaliti mereka. So apabila perkara ini dilaksanakan nanti, kita dah prepare semua ni. Tak payah kita nak mulakan waktu tu juga.
Separately, on the e-voting system, Dato' Azhar said the EC is still engaging with the experts to obtain more details and discussions on the matter. He said this included issues of security and how to convince voters that their e-ballots will go to the candidate of their choice. Other issues include the risk of being hacked and blockchain-based voting with arguments for and against it. The Johor State Government is tightening its monitoring, including conducting screening process across its 12 entry points to prevent the spread of the Wuhan coronavirus. State Education, Health and Human Resources Exco Aminul Huda Hassan said travellers, especially from China, and locals who had visited the country would be screened through the thermal screening counter.
Pertama sekali bagi kita lah untuk memastikan rakyat berada dalam keadaan sihat, jaga kebersihan lah, itu yang pertamanya. Yang keduanya, pastikan usuh di kalangan semua, macam contoh di sini tadi datang kumpulan daripada Guangzhou, semua petugas pembersihan akan bersihkan laluan dia secara serta-merta. Lepas dia lalu je kita bersihkan. Maknanya untuk memastikan kalau ada mungkin pakaian dan sebagainya, sebab dia bukan saja tubuh badan akan disemak, termasuk juga barang-barang dia punya barang lah. Dia akan scan menggunakan peralatan yang munasabah untuk dapat kesan tentang penyakit.
Aminul Huda was met after checking the health screening facility at the Senai International Airport in Johor Bahru. To date, there have been no coronavirus cases detected in the country. The Kuala Lumpur High Court today allowed former Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak's application to call a handwriting expert to verify his signatures on some documents linked to his SRC International Sdn Bhd trial. Judge Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali held that under the law, an accused is entitled to procure and lead any relevant evidence of his choice in his defense. The judge said even if the basis for the application was an afterthought or recent invention by the accused, this was not a valid reason to bar the accused from leading evidence in his defense. Justice Muhammad Nazlan said the evidentiary value of the intended evidence was also an issue to be determined at the end of the case. The judge said in order to ensure the examination of the exhibits does not interfere with the proceedings of the case, the defense must arrange for the examination by the expert to take place next week for a period of not more than 2 days before the trial continues after tomorrow on the 3rd of February. Last year, the High Court ordered Datuk Seri Najib, 67, to enter his defense on 7 charges of misappropriating 42 million ringgit in SRC International Sdn Bhd funds, comprising 3 counts of criminal breach of trust or CBT, 3 counts of money laundering, and 1 count of abuse of position in relation to the SRC funds. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Najib admitted that he had spent tens of millions of money credited into his personal bank accounts between 2014 and 2015. In fact, the 67-year-old former Premier told the Kuala Lumpur High Court that he had spent every cent in his accounts, as he thought it was from the Corporate Social Responsibility or CSR funds that he had. However, Datuk Seri Najib maintained his stance that he did not know the money was SRC International Sdn Bhd's funds. When cross-examined by prosecutor Datuk V. Sitambaram, Datuk Seri Najib agreed that he had spent 27 million ringgit, which was credited into his accounts in July 2014, and 5 million ringgit in September 2014. To another question, Datuk Seri Najib said he did not find it shocking that Nik Faisal Arif Kamil, the former Chief Executive Officer of SRC, did not tell him that 32 million ringgit was transferred into his accounts, as Nik Faisal was managing his account. The former Prime Minister testifies this after Datuk Sitambaram was querying him about a total of 32 million ringgit that flowed from SRC funds into his AmBank accounts in December 2014 and was later debited from the accounts. Datuk Seri Najib, however, stood fast with his defense that he had no knowledge about the transactions amounting to 32 million ringgit, saying that he did not receive the bank statements. He reiterated that Nik Faisal was managing the account. The trial before Judge Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali continues. Gadit Assemblyman G. Saminaden today pleaded not guilty at the Kuala Lumpur High Court to a charge with giving support to the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Elam or LTTE terrorists via his Facebook account. He made the plea after the charge was read to him in Tamil before Judge Datuk Muhammad Jamil Hussin. Saminaden was alleged to have committed the offence via Facebook under the name G. Saminaden Siva at the Bukit Aman Special Branch at 9:30 p.m. on 8th of October last year. He was charged under Section 130J, Subsection 1, Subsection A of the Penal Code, which carries a maximum jail term of 30 years, or a fine and forfeiture of any property used or intended to be used for the offence upon conviction. The prosecution was conducted by Deputy Public Prosecutor Muhammad Firdaus Abu Hanipa. While lawyer Harshan Zamani represented Saminaden, Judge Datuk Jamil Hussin then fixed 11th of February for mention of the case. Saminaden on Monday had also pleaded not guilty to the count of possessing items and supporting the terrorist group in October last year. A single mother was today charged at the Johor Bahru Magistrates Court with the murder of her 2-year-old daughter last week. The accused, Nurul Shamira Mazlan, 22, nodded in understanding after the charge was read to her in front of Magistrate Rashida Baharum. Nurul Shamira, who is unemployed, was accused of murdering Nur Shahana Abdus Kudus at an apartment unit in Taman Kempas Indah between 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. between the 5th and the 11th of January. She was charged under Section 302 of the Penal Code, which carries the mandatory death penalty. The case was conducted by Deputy Public Prosecutor Benedict Chong Kai Chi, while Nurul Shamira was represented by counsels Jack Sumatra, Muhammad Nur Azihan Adnan, and Muhammad Ashraf Muhammad Dia. 24th of February has been set for mention of the case while waiting for post-mortem report. On the 14th of January, Nurul Shamira and her boyfriend were arrested following a police report lodged by Sultan Ismail Hospital staff who found bruises on the victim's body. The child died at the hospital on the 13th of January, believed to be due to injuries sustained from abuse. Coming up, Malaysian Hajj quota increases to more than 31,000. The official Hajj quota for Malaysian pilgrims this year has been increased to 31,600 compared to 30,200 last year. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Seri Dr. Mujahid Yusof Rawaz said the increase of 1,400 was the result of several discussions held between Malaysia and Saudi Arabia.
Banding dengan rundingan sebelum ini, masa saya lah. Tentu sebelum itu ada rundingan-rundingan yang berjaya. Masa saya 2018 hingga sekarang, bagi saya kejayaan terbesar ialah peningkatan kota resmi dari 30,200 kepada 31,600 jemaah haji insya-Allah akan melakukan ibadah haji pada tahun ini.
The minister in the PM's department also said the increase in the Hajj quota would reduce the waiting period for pilgrims to perform Hajj. He also said the Saudi Arabian's Ministry of Umrah and Hajj confirmed all pilgrims will only be charged 300 Saudi Riyal for visa issuance. This charge is to replace the repeated Hajj fee that was abolished recently. Datuk Seri Dr. Mujahid added that he had met the Saudi Arabian Minister of Hajj and Umrah, Dr. Muhammad Saleh bin Tahir Bentin, in Mecca, during which they discussed early arrangements and preparations to manage Malaysian pilgrims during the 1441 Hijrah Hajj season. Perusahaan Automobil Kedua Sendirian Berhad or PERO 2 does not plan to hike up the price of their vehicles despite the government's plan to revise the excise duty for locally assembled vehicles. Its President and Chief Executive Officer Dato' Zainal Abidin Ahmad says PERO 2 is currently studying the impact of the excise duty revision on the company and its operations.
We have been following all the requirements given by the government and so on as far as the declaration is concerned, and we feel at this moment, of course, we are still evaluating what is the impact to us. However, rest assured, for the next few months there will be no impact to industry. We will not increase our price and we not reduce our price also. So at this moment, I'm saying, we are trying to minimize the impact. We are studying, we are evaluating, and hopefully, whatever impact, as much as possible, we don't want to pass this impact to customers.
Dato' Zainal Abidin said PERO 2 will also be discussing with the Malaysia Automotive Association or MAA and other industry players to evaluate the impact of excise duty revision towards the industry. Meanwhile, PERO 2 also recorded the highest annual sales with 240,341 units sold in 2019 compared to 227,243 units in 2018. According to Dato' Zainal Abidin, this increase was contributed through high demand of its 5 models, including the third-generation Myvi and Beza models. PERO 2 also had 40% of the market share against total industry volume in 2019, compared to 38% in 2018. The Consumer Price Index, or CPI, which measures headline inflation, increased 1% year-on-year to 122.3 in December 2019, from 121.1 in the same month of the preceding year. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, the increase in the overall index was driven by the index of miscellaneous goods and services, food and non-alcoholic beverages, housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels, education, communication, furnishings, household equipment, and routine household maintenance and health. On a quarterly basis, Chief Statistician Dr. Muhammad Uzair Mahidin said the CPI in the fourth quarter of 2019 rose 1% to 122.1 as compared to 120.9 in the same quarter of the previous year and increased 0.3% as compared to the third quarter of 2019. Overall, he said the CPI for 2019 registered an increase of 0.7% as compared to last year. Meanwhile, Dr. Muhammad Uzair said 3 states, namely the Federal Territories of Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya, Selangor and Johor, surpassed the national CPI rate of 1.0% in December 2019 versus the same month in the preceding year. He said all states registered an increase in the index of food and non-alcoholic beverages, with the highest increase recorded by Johor with 2.5%, followed by Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya and Selangor with 2.1%, surpassing the national index of 1.7% for the group in December 2019. We begin with local football. Kedah thrashed Hong Kong's Taipo FC 5-1 at Stadium Darul Aman last night to qualify for the third round of the Asian Champions League ACL qualifying playoffs. Kedah's import striker Kipre Cheche was the hero of the team for scoring a hat-trick. Kipre opened account for the hosts in the 3rd minute when he beat Taipo FC goalkeeper Ho Yui. Kipre combined well with Pa Sean Sherman to create problems for the Taipo FC defense, and in the 21st minute he scored again when he pounced on a ball which Ho Yui failed to field clean from Muhammad Rizal Ghazali's attempt. The visitors stepped up their attacks in search of goals but lost a player when Sun Ming Him was shown the red card for pulling Kipre from behind in the 33rd minute. After the interval, Kedah scored their 3rd goal when Muhammad Hadin Azman found the net with a powerful shot in the 46th minute. Muhammad Hadin scored another goal to put Kedah 4 up in the 66th minute before Taipo FC reduced the deficit through Chan Man Fai's effort a minute later. In the 92nd minute of added time play, Kipre notched another goal before referee Saul Ali Haji Al Adba of Qatar blew the final whistle.
So I think this season is a little bit more healthy challenge. Yeah, I think we believe the players that we bring in, they are good enough, and we can see today. I think Irfan did a good job playing beside Renan, Alif, and I think all the players definitely we plan accordingly what we want, and. It's good that tonight we can see very, very happy with the performance of their players.
How they play after this game when we concede 5 goals, everybody want to thinking about that we have another players or something. But this is now level of this group of the players, and this is good experience for these young players. You are seeing how young players especially play. Left back soon, how he gets children mistake, he don't thinking in that moment what is the right decision, but this is good experience for them for the future. He's a future like most of this group of the players in the team.
Kedah will next face FC Seoul in South Korea on the 28th of January. That concludes this evening's News on 2. In our top story, Election Commission to carry out voting simulations in 2,400 secondary schools nationwide. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Wong Kang Sin. Stay tuned to TV2 and have a pleasant evening.